Good morning. So let's take a look at this issue on the forum site. I think it's going to end up being one of the kind of a variant of the standard issues, but let's take a look here. So we have Wade D here. I am unaware why my toolpath is messed up. Any ideas? Before you ask for the file, I have no clue how to find it, to upload it. All right, well, I did link a description of how to export an F3D, and you obviously figured out how to. If someone could tell me how to upload a file, that would be awesome. And then Quick Fab offers a couple options, which this is going to be the right answer right here of what happened. This and this. A weird, no pun intended, but red flag for me is that this SVG has this red border around it. I'm wondering why that is. I'm going to have to search that out later. Anyways, here's the image. I did download that. Every other toolpath I worked on is perfect, so I'm not sure what messed up. Too small. And then I think I figured it out. For some reason, Inkscape was a stroke set for the whole path. Will update soon. Did not fix it. And then I uploaded a few comments, and that I was going to run this live stream. All right, so let's open up Fusion 360. And we are going to insert SVG, my computer, this one, and it's so odd that it shows up red unlike everything else. Okay. XY plane. Perfect. All the profiles seem to be solid. How big is this? 6 inches. Okay, well, this is probably where we're running into issues. 6 inches is pretty small. I'm sure you could... No, because none of this is going to work out down here. So do we have a metric conversion issue which is leading to our issues, which is probably going to be the case. Let's see here. I'm going to just measure what these little things are. Yeah. So somewhere between a 32nd and a 64th. That'll just evaporate. Okay, let's take a look here. What size is this? 6.348. Let's bring up our calculator here. 6.348 times 25.4 equals, yeah, that's way too big. It's just too small. Let's bring these up to at least a level where they're not going to evaporate into nothing. 0.21, like at least a 16th, maybe a like 14 gauge thickness. Let's make this thing 3 times the size as it is. That would make more sense to have about an 18-inch plaque like this. So we're going to go in here. I'm going to unlock this. You know what? Let's just try to develop it the way you had it, just so we run into the same problem. We'll go back and fix it after. Okay, let's extrude this. Oh, hit the extrude button first. Come on. Butterfingers this morning. Then we'll go into manufacturing. We'll set up a new setup. I'm just going to use an example tool I have here. This has a kerf width of 0.035. Because everything is so small, I'm going to select this geometry here. Because of the artsy nature of it too, I'll reduce the tolerance by 1 magnitude and add smoothing. And I'm just going to do the smallest lead-in radius. No lead-out distance, no lead-out at all, no lead-in distance, just a lead-in radius, which kind of default gives me a little bit of a lead-in distance. And let's see what we develop. Yeah. So it's just discarding these elements here because it just can't fit it in kerf width style, exactly like QuickFab said. I mean, it's so micro to begin with that all these little bits are going to be evaporating into nothing anyways when you're cutting it. But let's see if we can get that to cut. Let's say we're running a laser. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get rid of the leads completely, and let's see what that does. Oh, it picked up a little bit more, but still not completing a proper path here. And it isn't giving us some items were discarded due to linking constraints fault. It's giving us a valid path. Let's see here what this looks like. All right, so let's go back and edit this. And I'm going to go in and edit my tool. And I'm going to drop down the kerf width just to see if that's going to fit, even though obviously we'd never get this kind of kerf width. Maybe running a dry table. All right. Now we've modified this tool. Let's try again. And here we've developed a complete path, it looks like, cutting out all the geometry. Let's go into simulation. Right here, it's going to start getting into that. Okay, well, it will work there, but it's not going to come out nice. This is going to come out just as a burnt 6-inch chunk. So let's go back to design. We'll go into this sketch and edit it. We can also just go like this and go to where is it? Edit. So I've unlocked this already. Let's hit S for search tool, S for scale. Grab all this. I'm going to select a point, origin, and I'm going to upsize this by 3 times. So now it's 19 inches across. It's a little bit more reasonable size. I'm going to go back into manufacturing. It's going to give us an alert because we've made some changes here. That's fine. We're going to want to do a bunch of changes in the tool paths again. Cancel. I'm going to put a more realistic cutting tool in there. So let's switch this out for something a little bit more realistic. Let's use some sync 14-inch. 14 gauge consumables. Perfect. We're still selected on that contour, but now let's actually put in some nice leads so we don't have bites. Alright. Okay. Now let's see if it generates this all for us. Look at that. It missed a little bit right here. Let me go in here. I gotta adjust this tool a little bit. I must have made this tool before the September 2022 update. So I'm gonna go in here to cutter, and I'm gonna switch this to the same as the kerf width so we can actually have a viable simulation. No, you're not gonna let me change? What's not a number? Come on. Okay, well, I will just select another tool and adjust it then. Not going to get into that right now. Let's do a more realistic kerf width on this guy. Alright. Select that. Okay, let's see what this looks like now. Interesting. So that line is actually segmented. That is bizarre. Huh. I'm gonna get rid of the leads and try that again. Or maybe just get rid, yeah, let's get rid of leads and just see if we can produce a viable cut here. Interesting that it sees that as separate pieces. Isn't that bizarre? Here, I'm going to try to develop it off the sketch instead of the body and see if that makes a difference for us. Except it'll give us that outside. But let's try it anyways. You don't want to cut this outside square just because it'll select all the geometry. Oh, look at that. It's just grinding. Interesting. And again, I wanted to separate those. Alright, we're going to go back to design and take a closer look at some of these points. Interesting. Okay, now we're getting at what? It's an ugly trace. Look at this. Okay, so we can start seeing what's going on. Here's another one right here. Well, I'm going to just do some micro fixes here. Right there. It will not let me do that, eh? Nice. So where's my next line? Right here. Let's just delete this sucker then. Yeah, it's actually just an ugly drawing. So yes, the kerf width and all that was because it was too small, but The real issue is these artifacts. So that's fixed. The eye, I think, was having some issues. Like this. So let's just trim that out again. There's another one right here. Trim that out. Or trim. All right. Finish. I'm going to go back to manufacturing to see if that's made any difference for us. And I think I want to go back to just the body too. Oh, it didn't extrude this because I destroyed it when I see. Okay, let's just run this again, see if it picks up the A without doing the inside outside. I think it's having a hard time figuring out what to do. Oh, it's still ugly. Yeah, there's just so many of those little offsets in there. Likely how it was exported from Inkscape. Yeah. Alright, let's go back to design. We're going to get this figured out here. A family, eh? Okay. How am I going to do this? Let's go back and edit sketch. I'm going to get rid of that outside border. I'm just going to try to fix this. Because of the several errors in there, I'm gonna appearance black, please. Coatings. Close. Get rid of sketch, and then I'm going to export a image of this family font. If I had it on the computer, I'd just type it back in, but I don't have your particular font here. Okay, that's done. I'm going to go into here. I'm going to open up Converto. I'm going to take this family PNG that we just did. SVG, convert. I'm hoping this will smooth out those little issues. Alright, I'm going to go back into here. I'm going to go edit feature. And in this case, I do not want these extruded. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is insert SVG, and we just made that this lovely one right here. Damn, I wish it wasn't black now. A little smaller. Let's do this. I'm going to turn on this sketch instead because I cannot see it through that body. Go a little bit bigger. All right. Okay. Gonna finish this sketch. Bring up this body again. Actually, what I'll do is hit the extrude key first. Bring up all this. Or not that. I'll bring up this. And hopefully doing that conversion would have straightened out some of those issues. Let's see now in manufacturing. We're going to regenerate. It's going a little slow, but I do have 4 monitors going with about 25 applications open, so I'm not too worried about it. Interesting. How after it's a new drawing? Oh, that's because it's making it off the sketch. That's what's going on. Edit. That's why I didn't update correctly for me last time too. Oh, it's done. Oh, look at that. It had repaired that. Well, isn't that nice? Good. So that's good to go. I am going to save this file. I'm going to export both a F3D of this file, and I'll export a new DXF of the one that is functioning. And you should be on your way. So let's go into design. These are some good skills to learn anyways. So I'm going to start a new sketch, and this is how I'm going to get a nice DXF of what we have going on here. I'm going to start in the XY plane. I'm going to hit P for project, and I'm going to project this body. And it might take a second because I think there's quite a few nodes in this thing. There we go. And we're going to go to sketch 3 now. Right click and go to save as DXF. And family wall hanging fix. All right. So now there's that. And I'm going to go back into manufacturer just so you're right here at this point. And I'm going to save this. Actually, I'm not going to save it on my computer. I'm just going to export an F3D, which you probably won't let me do until I save it on my computer. Oh, well. Family wall hanging forum. Well, there we go. So, yes, the kerf width and the linking constraints were an issue, but even with them sorted out, the drawing itself is an issue. I'm not sure if it's just because how micro it was when it was exported. But yeah, let's go into simulation here for a sec and just see what we have. Oh, let's turn off that sketch so it looks a little better for us. Get a little more speed here. Well, that looks like that'll create a successful cut. All right, have yourself a good day. I'm going to stop the stream.